Apple at $4 trillion, a lawsuit loss, and app tracking transparency. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Surfshark. Visit surfshark.com/MacVoices or use code MacVoices at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. It's Tuesday night before the last Tuesday before Halloween, so this is the trick-or-treat version of MacVoices Live. I feel like it's a treat because of the people we have here. Some of our other members are out tricking or doing whatever they're doing, and that came out really wrong. Maybe I better just edit that, or not. I don't know.
In 3, 2.
Yeah. Let's go around the room and find out who's here, and then we will get to it. Because I was able to gather up a lot of stuff tonight. I'm not sure how much of it bears deep discussion, but some definitely does. So uncharacteristically, in the top left corner of my screen, Mr. Marty Jencius. Marty, good to see you.
Good to be here, Chuck. Hey, have you prepared for trick or treat in your neighborhood? You're talking about Halloween.
As much as I ever prepare, yeah.
So have you got little kids that come to your door and want candy?
Sometimes.
Yeah. We just put our stuff out on the door with the door camera on, and they come up and ring the door. And a bowl full of Tide Pods, and then shot glasses full of cinnamon. It's fun to watch through the door camera. It's fun to watch the toddlers do the cinnamon challenge. So that's my trick.
That's your trick, okay. Yeah. But the Tide Pods is a little disturbing, Marty.
Yeah, I know.
That's a little crazy.
Well, it's Halloween. It's supposed to be disturbing.
Good point.
Okay.
Well, Bixby is here, sporting one of the what is it now? The quilt squared.
Yeah, QQ.
QQ.
Quilt squared. Yeah.
Quilt Squared's amazing quilts. Webb, good to have you. And as always, tell her we love the quilts.
I certainly will. It's I need to get some pictures of some new ones. I'm kind of recycling I think I have 27 in the queue here, and I think I've shown them all. So anyway, and I'm all set now, all ready to go for Halloween myself. And I'm on the other hand is that we have churches that bring like bandfuls of kids to our neighborhood. So,
and they all know where you live.
Well, that's because I get the full-size Snickers bars. So,
yeah, you're a full-size bar community. I've heard about those.
Yeah.
Thank God for Costco.
Chief, full-size bars. I may have to come and trick or treat. I'll dress up as a podcast host. Jim Ray is here. It looks like he's doing trick or treat at the spaceship. Jim, good to have you.
Yeah, I just realized you said this was our Halloween show, so I figured I'd go for the spooky Apple Park background.
I like it. Thank you for indulging me. Brian Flanigan-Arthurs has joined us. Brian, good to see you.
So good to see you guys.
Last but not least, Eric Bolden snuck in under the wire just as we were starting. Eric, it's good to have you, and you brought along another friend this time.
Yeah, today I brought a cardinal costume. Very realistic bird. Right.
Okay. Does that mean you'll be dressing up as a cardinal for Halloween?
No. This is like looking at the picture on the box, and what you get is nowhere near that.
Okay. So yeah. So will anybody be dressing up here for Halloween?
This is my costume.
This is all right. Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. I just look at all the other people running around and being weird. So as I said, we have a lot to get to, some Apple related, some Apple adjacent, some just tech oriented. But there's a lot of things I wanted to at least bring to folks' attention and also to get your comments on. But I thought we had to start with this one. That today, Apple didn't close at, but they touched the $4 trillion mark on intraday trading. They join NVIDIA and Microsoft at that lofty level, or right there with them. And when you think about the run up that NVIDIA's had this year, it's probably no surprise. And Microsoft, when you compare the number of products that Apple has versus the number of products and services that Microsoft has their hands in, I still think it's a little bit amazing that Apple is in that kind of company. And then when you start comparing them to other companies like Amazon and Meta and realize that they dwarf over those people, it's just kind of amazing any way you take it. So, Webb, you're usually the one that is really paying attention to the stock market. I think anybody that has any Apple stock has been really enjoying the run up this week or the past couple of weeks. Any thoughts on bouncing around right here at $4 trillion?
Well, first of all, it's an amazing accomplishment, especially if you've been following Apple as long as everybody in this room has. And remember, they were about to go. I was going to use a phrase, and I stopped myself. They were having troubles and borrowed money from Bill Gates to stay afloat. And if you go from that to where they are now, it's amazing. I was just thinking about this. Remember, and I think it's been since I've been on this show with you guys. Thank you very much. When it was a big deal when they hit $1 trillion. Okay. And it took them, 20, let's say 22 years, just cut it in the middle to get there. And then they've gone from that to 3 trillion in really a short amount of time. So, it's like that snowball at the top of the hill. It's once it starts going, it just keeps going and going and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, this is that's an amazing product. There's no doubt about it. And some of the other things that they've done from a computer wise, I'm amazed. And yeah, I will admit I'm also a shareholder. And I don't know if I ever told this story. I became a shareholder when Guy Kawasaki had his blog back when blogs were new, and he was saying everybody should buy Apple stock, and I did. Okay, and I've spent I think all in all about $3,500 doing it, and it has grown dynamically. So since I did that, so anyway, that's it. Yeah, it's a great move. Now let's also keep in mind that, and I cautioned this audience several times, is that let's not confuse the stock market and how Apple does as a stock versus the whole world. It's just a measure of what they're doing, but it has nothing to do with what the next product is or how they're struggling with AI or some of these other things. It's a whole different, it's the investment market as opposed to the consumer market. So keep them separate, but yeah, I think it's a great accomplishment and congratulations. And you got to give a lot of credit to Tim Cook. You say what you want. He's the captain of the ship, and he's gotten him this far. It's pretty amazing.
I think about some of the criticisms that we leverage here every week, and that others do, and yet Apple just keeps on going. Your comments about the investment market and all are spot on, which I think is just a testament again to Apple itself. That okay, it's valued at close to $4 trillion right now, but there's still buy ratings on it. So people are still expecting this run to continue. A week or two ago, we had a statistic on that somewhere in the 80%, 88% of teenagers have iPhones, which really speaks well for the future of being in the Apple ecosystem. We talked, I think it was either last week again or the week before, about Apple being, for the 13th year in a row, the most valuable company. So they keep racking up all these things. Some of them have to do with financial performance, some don't. But at the end of the day, and we all know, well, the one thing we all know about is, the loyal customer base, absurdly loyal. So Yeah, it's kind of staggering when you think about, to your point, that, at one point they looked like they were weeks away from going out of business. And that was in our lifetimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else is excited over webinar like where we are on this?
Yeah, I am, because you were the one that encouraged me to buy some Apple stock. And, I was just kind of letting my portfolio run by other people. And when I called my agent, they're like, yeah, you could do that. So I just went ahead and independently bought some shares, and have been pleased with how it's gone. And then, of course, they had that big mix up in the couple of months back, or more than a couple of months back, where somebody said some things that caused the stock market and tech markets to drop. I think it went down to about 179 per share. And I, not to be an opportunist, but that was an opportunity for me to buy a few more shares. And now it's up at 269. So it's been pretty remarkable. It's been enjoyable for me.
Yeah, agreed. Brian, Eric, Jim, anything to add?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, different than, the troubling times from Apple. Apple is so diversified in what it produces, in its services, and it's, not just a one-trick pony. There's so many different things where if one aspect of the company isn't doing as well as others, it doesn't just tank the whole thing either.
Eric, any thoughts from you and the bird?
Well, speaking as someone who has not picked up Apple stock because it was a conflict of interest, I kind of was hoping it would go down briefly long enough for me to actually get my share. So I'm always excited to see it do well. It might be a while before, I think it's buyable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've seen stock splits in the past.
Yep.
And if it were to sustain at this level,
There's a good chance.
it wouldn't be unheard of that they could do it again. And that would be another opportunity to buy in and feel like, even though you're really buying basically in at the same value, it just feels different because you get more shares for the money.
Yep.
So we can only hope.
Chuck, just one last comment, just for perspective, that Marty kind of talked about this. On April the 3rd of this year, it was down to 188 per share, and today it's at 269. So, that's almost $100, $85 jump just since April, and that's just because of the volatility of the market. If you start looking at that from an averages, it's still a tremendous growth. That's it. I'll get off my investment box. So.
No, I mean, listen, that's it. There's so many ways to look at it from an investing standpoint and a performance standpoint. But at the end of the day, it just is right up there with the top dogs in just about everything you can think of.
And I believe they make their earnings announcement on Friday, October 30. So
yes. So
you'll be hearing something else too. And of course, so they're going to say, "Oh my God, they're all falling apart," and it's going to tank the stock about 5 to 7%. Then they'll rebound. So.
Yeah. It's funny how Apple reports all these great numbers, and I know Jeff has told us in the past. He always makes a point of, but yeah, they're looking for the future. They're not looking at the past performance and rewarding it. That's already built in. So. But there'll be somebody that asks questions or just Apple can't live up to all the hype, but the performance is there.
Yeah.
Today's MacVoices is supported by Surfshark VPN. Shirts, socks, toothbrush, VPN. Wait, VPN? Absolutely. When you travel, it's as essential as your passport because your data needs protection everywhere you go. Whether you're on hotel Wi-Fi, airport lounges, or cafe hotspots, Surfshark VPN keeps your information encrypted and your location private. With Surfshark, you can safely access your favorite sites, streaming services, and even home banking, all while pretending you never left the couch. One account covers every device you own, so your phone, laptop, and tablet are all protected. And Surfshark's Clean Web feature blocks ads, malware, and trackers before they even load, keeping your browsing fast and smooth. I've got some business travel coming up, and Surfshark was the only thing I didn't have to pack, because it's already installed on my devices and ready to go no matter where or when. It's peace of mind in your pocket. So before you zip that suitcase, make sure that Surfshark goes with you too. Go to surfshark.com/MacVoices or use the code MacVoices at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN absolutely free. The link is in the show notes. With a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, you can't go wrong. That's surfshark.com/MacVoices. Protect your connection wherever your travels take you. Thanks to Surfshark for supporting MacVoices. Well, so we went for some good from some good Apple news to some not so great Apple news. This one is the Apple loses the UK App Store monopoly case. The penalty might, and I stress might, near $2 billion. Now, this can be appealed. Apple's already said they're going to appeal it. The calculations on exactly how this would be calculated are questionable. Or at least not set in stone. But it certainly is too disappointing to see that they lost it, because I'm still not sure they're guilty. But that's me. I'm a little biased.
It's another example of Apple being penalized for their success, especially with the App Store and how they've handled some of those distribution ideas. So, good or bad, you're right. But it's a $2 billion judgment. Of course they're going to appeal it. They have to. They'd be silly not to. They're not just going to, throw their cards in and walk away. Of course they're going to appeal it, and they're going to take their chances at the appellate level. So,
and it's probably going to go on for a while.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if something like this could be resolved with a settlement of some kind. And if it could, what would Apple be willing to pay without any admission of guilt? So
but being a government entity, they don't have to negotiate, so they don't have to kind of reach a settlement. So
yeah. So I think it'll be around for a while.
Yep.
Also from Europe, we have thrown them into the chat rooms as I go, folks. That Apple warns that app tracking transparency could be disabled in Europe. So is this a little pushback, or is it just logistically reasonable to do it just in Europe because of some of the regulations? I mean, obviously, Apple's not going to keep this turned on if they're going to get fined for it. But I couldn't help but wonder if, with some of the things that have been coming out of the EU and the UK, if this might be just a little bit, look, if you're going to hobble us this much, then we're not going to protect the privacy the way of the users there the way we can, because we're sure not going to pay you to do it. So I think it would make sense. In March, pardon me. In March 2025, Apple was fined 150 million euros by France because they complicated the process of users to opt out of tracking and unfairly disadvantaged third-party developers and ad providers. I didn't know that they were supposed to be advantaged. Marty, any thoughts?
I think this is a chess game. And I think Apple has kind of put down a gambit and saying, okay, if you're going to make us spend this kind of money to make you happy, we'll just hobble what you have as a phone, and we won't have to pay you anything based on what the concerns are. So I think they're pushing this out in order to get maybe a favorable judgment or some change in what the expectation is here. I think if they went completely nuclear on them, I think that would be great. Because I think probably the phone users would storm the castle.
Marty, I would kind of hope that they would, but this is where I feel like I hit a frustration level because too many people don't seem to understand the implications of this or just how much they're being tracked. And, once you go down that road, it's really tough to come back. So I don't know if we need a public education session or a bunch of public education sessions on why this tracking is not a good idea and just how much money is being made off of you and how much you're being targeted.
There's part of me that thinks most of the public, besides, the 6 of us here, really don't give a damn how much their information's being shared, used, sold, whatever. They just want to use the product and not think about it.
Is there anybody here on the panel that is not concerned with the tracking and the privacy? Is there anybody that has that attitude? And it's okay if you do. That's fine. It's just alien to me. Okay, so everybody cares. Good.
Of course, caring is one thing. Believing that, you're not still being tracked past the point of no return is something else.
Eric, that's a really interesting phrase because you're right. I don't think any of us would believe that this is the only thing standing between us and being tracked. But the comment of past the point of no return, yeah, when at some point, if you're in a rainstorm, no matter what size the umbrella, if you get wet, then you just get wet. So I don't know, but I still feel like that I don't want that complete a picture of my activities, no matter what they are. And there's nothing nefarious out there being the subject of information that can be used to target me, to sell me things, or to push a political agenda in my direction, or even something worse that I can't think of right now.
I really miss those punch cards for coffee, where after 10 punches you get a free coffee. And now everything is a loyalty program. So as soon as you swipe your credit card, all of your information, what you purchased and where you are, gets sent off to like 12 different people. And it's little things. Now, that being said, I don't feel I need to help them by having my phone send additional data out. So.
And the bad thing is that, without this, then the app can be not only tracking what you're doing at that coffee shop, let's say, but also everything else you're doing.
Yep.
So that, if you go to a particular restaurant, if you go and buy a car, if you go and watch certain movies, what else do you use a credit card for? I mean, anything that all that information is being gathered up in your profile. So
that's why you make other people pay for stuff for you.
So they're
just
you're giving away other people's.
Yeah, just be nice. A mooch. That's
okay.
all.
Thanks, Marty.
And that's why I have children.
There's a strategy I've never thought of. Just be a mooch. Okay. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.